Why we can't stop lying. Let's begin with some honesty. You lie. I lie. Everyone lies. If you claim you don't, I regret to inform you that you've just proved my point. Researchers often say that lying is a normal human behavior. In fact, one study reported that people lie several times a day, although many participants later admitted having underestimated the number. In other words, not only are we liars, but we are bad at counting our lies too. Scientists have been curious about this for decades. In one classic experiment, researchers asked people about their habits, such as exercise, charity, and even voting. Most participants confidently insisted that they were responsible, healthy citizens. However, when the data was checked, it revealed a slightly different story. When confronted, some people explained that they had intended to behave better, while others simply refused to admit anything at all. So why do we lie? Psychologists generally suggest that lying serves a purpose. In fact, experts argue that lying is often a learned behavior with surprisingly deep roots. One of the reasons for lying is that it can be used as a shield. Many people admit to using lies to protect themselves from criticism or embarrassment. For example, you might tell your boss you missed a deadline because of technical issues when, in reality, you were watching videos. In that moment, a lie feels safer than the truth. Another reason for telling lies is to control our image. Some psychologists claim that lying allows us to manage how others see us. By carefully editing reality, we can appear more successful, more interesting, or just more awake on Monday mornings. Social media is the perfect example. People rarely admit to having spent hours doing nothing. Instead, they prefer to present a polished version of their lives. Experts warn that the more you lie, the easier it becomes. Over time, the brain may even see lying as the normal thing to do. Some researchers have gone so far as to suggest that repeated lying reduces the emotional reaction we normally feel when we are dishonest. In simple terms, your brain stops complaining. Unfortunately, lying is often connected to deeper issues. Therapists frequently point out that anxiety, low self-esteem, or fear of rejection can all play a role. People who struggle with these feelings may feel compelled to create a safer version of reality to protect themselves from others. One expert explained that they use lying to cope with difficult situations in their lives, and it doesn't necessarily make them bad people. Although lying is often considered an unacceptable behavior, psychologists don't usually recommend trying to eliminate lying completely, which is lucky because that would be impossible. Instead, they advise becoming more aware of it. Experts suggest paying attention to when you feel the need to lie. Is it when you're afraid of disappointing someone, or when you want to avoid conflict? Next, they recommend taking a moment before speaking and asking yourself why. Another useful strategy is to practice small truths. Instead of pretending to be busy, you could simply say, "I'm too tired." It sounds terrifying, but many people later report feeling surprisingly better. Finally, professionals often encourage finding one person you trust completely, someone you can be honest with, someone who won't judge you if you admit to having lied about eating the last slice of pizza.